My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world.
This is how easy it is now to create an ebook.
And with one more click, all the content is generated by chapters, by sections, all ready for you to edit.
That should be infuriating for any author, any creator, just to see how things can be ripped off just like that. As that advances, more and more military operations will be conducted where decisions are made before it even gets to a human.
Should we pause for 6 months?
Your characterization's not quite correct.
So you think that we should take a moratorium, a 6-month moratorium or more on anything beyond ChatGPT 4?
AI technology continues to advance, and many are embracing it more and more. AI, artificial intelligence, which has produced ChatGPT, which is continually creating more versions. We're seeing this advance at warp speed, and Christians, among others, are also embracing it. Christians, even pastors, are seeing this as a tool, maybe to help with their sermon preparation. Many are using it to write articles and blog posts. They're using it maybe even to write books. There's so much embracing of ChatGPT, of this AI, artificial technology, and it is something that is very concerning. The plagiarism that I've just mentioned is only the very beginning of the problem. And the problem continues to increase, so much so that the CEO of OpenAI, the organization that created ChatGPT, Sam Altman, that CEO has talked to Congress and wants to see government regulations. He wants to see government regulations on the advancement of AI because he sees that it could be a great concern as it continues to advance. We're going to take a look at that. I'm going to talk about some of those dangers of AI. We're going to look at some clips of his calls for government regulation. I'm going to show you a clip that even demonstrates how easy it is to plagiarize and create an ebook just like that in a matter of minutes. I'm going to read an article to you, show you some highlights of an article about a project to create everyone's eyeballs, to get everyone's eyeballs in a database. And I'm going to play a few clips from a Senate hearing back in May. And then you want to stick around to the end for some final takeaways for Christians. That's what we'll be talking about today. Welcome to Truth Transforms. My name's Adam Markley. The goal of Truth Transforms is to transform hearts and transform minds through the truth of God's Word. I interact with things going on with the culture and help us think through some of those things. This is one of those things I think Christians should be paying attention to and concerned about, is so many who are embracing AI. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I've mentioned the fact that AI is being used for so many things. Pastors are even saying, you know what, maybe I'll use it for my sermon prep. And so we've got issues now with members of congregations wondering if they can trust their pastor. Did he really write this sermon that he's bringing on Sunday morning? Did he really prayerfully, through sweat and tears and dependence on the Holy Spirit, work with his Bible throughout the week, studying that text to bring a sermon for them? Or did he go to a robot and say, hey, could you help me with this? Could you help me apply it? Or could you just write the whole thing for me and then use that for his sermon material? This is concerning stuff. We have people who are writing blogs and articles. We have books that are written from it. We had an AI church service, and I talked about some of this. You'll want to make sure you watch some of these videos after the fact. There was a robot-led church service. You can go and check that out on the channel. I'll link the playlist to all of this. Al Mohler was interviewed, and he talked about AI and what he sees as some of the concerns. And plagiarism. AI, OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, is actually being sued. They are being sued because ChatGPT used material, and much of that material is material that authors have written in books, and that's exactly how ChatGPT was trained. by digesting all of this content, all of this human content. And that's really what it is. If you go to ChatGPT and you type in, hey, can you tell me this? Can you tell me this? It's a bunch of ingested human content just all over the place, filtered through the programmer's biases, and out pops out what they want it to, create in a very simplified way of explaining it. A very simplified way of explaining it, because it does learn and it improves and it gets better. So those are some of the concerns with AI. Now we're going to start, and I'm just going to show you this here. This is how easy it is now to create an ebook. I actually had this shown to me in a YouTube ad, and I went and hunted it down because I wanted to show just how easy it is for an ebook to be created, and I find it concerning. Let me show you this, though. This is a service being advertised. It's called Word Genie.
In just over 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'm going to show you how I created this ebook from one idea using Designer and a feature they have called Word Genie. Firstly, when you're in Designer, all you need to do is enter in your niche or your idea. So I'm going to type in coaching. Then I want to get a bit more specific about the niche. So I'm going to choose wellness coaching. And then following that, I'm going to identify what audience I want to target my ebook towards. So in this case, I'm going to type for women. Now, Word Genie will come back and suggest a whole load of titles for my ebook. So I'm just going to choose the one that I think is really catchy. So this one here, the mind-body connection. And now what happens is Word Genie suggests a complete outline for my ebook, including all the chapters and sections for the book. And with one more click, all the content is generated by chapters, by sections, all ready for you to edit, add more content, or fine-tune to match your experience. Finally, you simply choose a template, and Designer will load all that content into your chosen template with a full design and layout, which again, you can tune as you see fit. And that's Designer. Join us today.
Well, there you go. I'm not exactly trying to advertise their services, but I am trying to show you just what you can do. And it's concerning, and that should be infuriating for any author, any creator, just to see how things can be ripped off just like that. Where's the content coming from, you say? Well, it's coming from humans. It's coming from humans who have written things, put it out there on the internet. It's been ingested by ChatGPT or some similar chatbot, and it's spit out to these companies. So you pay them for that service, and you can just have content generated. And then you can present it as your own when it's really not your own. It was created by someone else. And people think that this is okay to do because they think a robot created it, but a robot did not create it. It was created from humans. The source material came from humans. It went to the robot, and then it was with machine learning and with, it used that as source material. It learns and it improves and it predicts. And so then it takes that and creates more content from that. But nonetheless, it's content fully generated from somebody else. So it's very concerning that it's just so easy for people to lie and deceive now, even more than ever before, just in written works and publications. But I mean, that's on the grand scheme of things, it gets far worse than that. We're going to get into that. Now, next thing I'm going to show you is an article here, some highlights from an article. This is about some of the... Okay, so I guess I'm showing you this because Sam Altman, make sure I'm saying his name right. Sam Altman is the OpenAI CEO. OpenAI, again, is a company that created ChatGPT. Now, he was the CEO, actually. He was the CEO until this last Friday, November 17th, and we'll get to that change here later on. But for now, we're going to look at this article here. He's the one calling for government regulations. He says, I want you to regulate the industry. I see a problem with AI. I see some issues that we could have if AI advances too fast. But yet, this is the same guy with projects like this. Yes, this is one of the projects. WorldCoin Scan, I think it's been shut down now, but WorldCoin scans eyeballs and offers crypto. What to know about the project from OpenAI's CEO. We're going to flip through that. So let's try and do that. So weeks after, this is from back in August, weeks after its international launch, WorldCoin is drawing the attention of privacy regulators around the world, with Kenya's government going so far as to shut down the service indefinitely. Okay, so Kenya shut it down. I don't know the status other places. The international ID startup, backed by big names in Silicon Valley, is now having to defend itself in investigations over whether the biometric data that the company is collecting is truly secure. Here's what to know about WorldCoin and the concerns it's raising. WorldCoin is the creation of Sam Altman, best known as the CEO of OpenAI, the company that has gained widespread recognition with its artificial intelligence chatbot, ChatGPT. The goal of WorldCoin and the company backing it, Tools for Humanity, is to give people a form of identification that could never be stolen or duplicated. WorldCoin creates a world ID by scanning someone's eyeballs through orbs, a device that captures an image of their irises, the colored parts of the eyes. And that picture at the beginning there, that was an orb. That's an orb that he's looking into. One possible use for such an ID would be online services, where oftentimes people are having to remember multiple passwords and usernames for various websites they have signed up for. The security of those sites can be flawed, however, and there have been numerous security breaches where usernames and passwords have been stolen. Instead of using old technology like passwords, a person could just sign up using their world ID. Okay, and that was the whole first portion. Now I'm just going to give you highlights. So what is its connection to crypto? They talk about that a little bit. Why is WorldCoin gaining attention? And here are some highlights to point out. Thousands of Kenyans lined up in Nairobi last week at a registration center where WorldCoin scanned their irises in exchange for 25 coins, worth about $50. The largely youthful crowd included a special line for mothers who waited with children strapped to their backs. Wow. So, paying them to get their eyeballs in the database. Some of those in line told local media that they had traveled for miles after friends said free money was being handed out. They acknowledged not knowing why they needed to scan their irises and where that information would go, but just wanted the money. University graduates were among those who waited for hours, alluding to the high rate of unemployment in Kenya, where many are angry over the rising cost of living. The Kenyan government has since suspended new signups for WorldCoin as it investigates whether people's information is being properly protected. Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki said last week that investigations of the safety and protection of the data being harvested and how the harvesters intend to use the data had started. What are the privacy concerns? A lot, obviously, that should be obvious, but let's look at what they say. WorldCoin's orbs collect biometric data by taking photographs of a person's iris, while WorldCoin argues that the data is used to create a unique, secure form of identification. Privacy experts have concerns that the company may use the information in other ways, like personalized marketing. That has led to some countries to investigate WorldCoin's operations, including France, Germany, and now Kenya. The Bavarian State Office for Data Protection Supervision says it has initiated a comprehensive investigation of WorldCoin and Tools for Humanity over data security practices. The agency is looking into whether the rights of people who submitted their personal data were observed. They should have been sufficiently informed about how their data would be used and given the ability to object, have their data deleted, or to withdraw their permission, said Michael Will, head of the office. That's what was supposed to happen, of course. The data also should be protected from unauthorized access to prevent identity theft, for instance, he said in a statement. Privacy experts, this is all getting to the end of the article, privacy experts are worried that even WorldCoin could eventually be susceptible to criminals infiltrating it, similar to data breaches at other large companies. Privacy experts have said biometric data is already being sold in places like China that could spread to other countries or jurisdictions. When biometric data gets leaked, especially in the poor countries where WorldCoin's been operating, people's lives are on the line, said Pete Howson, a professor of international development at Northumbria University in Newcastle upon Tyne, England. In a blog post last week, WorldCoin acknowledged the privacy concerns around its news service, but said everything is optional and no personal data is disclosed by default, and not enabling each holder to decide which, if any, personal data to share with third parties when using World ID. WorldCoin has previously said the company uses industry best practices to secure users' data, pointing to an audit that 2 security firms did in late July. Okay, well, that's what I have for that article. So yeah, this is crazy stuff. Okay, so there you're beginning to see some of the issues that we have with AI and some of the projects that are underway. And the same man that's doing these projects is also the man going to the Senate hearing, a Senate committee hearing in May, requesting government oversight, government regulations on AI, the AI industry in general. And here's what he had to say.
My worst fears are that the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world.
A surprise call for action from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, clarifying the dangers of tomorrow posed by the rapidly evolving technology of artificial intelligence. Altman wants lawmakers to step in and regulate it before it's too late, even calling for a government agency to oversee the industry.
I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong, and we want to be vocal about that.
It's been less than a year since ChatGPT was released to the world, and AI technology can already do so much more. From speech writing and tutoring to machine learning, it can create new content such as music and art. It can even create deepfake video and audio. Senator Richard Blumenthal opening the hearing with a ChatGPT-generated greeting and audio app that impersonated his voice based on Senate floor speeches.
This is crazy.
Too often, we have seen what happens when technology outpaces regulation. If you were listening from home, you might have thought that voice was mine and the words from me. But in fact, that voice was not mine.
So it's very important that we just take it a step at a time and develop it slowly so it doesn't ruin our lives as far as human life is concerned.
As lawmakers scramble to regulate AI technology, tech expert Burton Kelso tells CBN News that protecting yourself from this technology starts with protecting personal information.
So the thing that we have to worry about as individuals is making sure that we're not putting personal information in AI, because at any point, either through a supply chain hack or just a hack with OpenAI itself, then that information can be exposed to the dark web.
Some major fears include AI replacing millions of jobs. It could even falsify information for malicious gain or be used to erase key moments from history. However, one of the biggest concerns deals with national security.
Given that we're going to face an election next year and these models are getting better, I think this is a significant area of concern.
Rapid advances in AI tech are complicating efforts here and abroad to agree on laws that govern emerging technologies. China has already drafted regulations that could shape the future.
But at the same time, a lot of technology comes out of China. And I think one of the things that we want to prevent as a country is that China rules everything.
This is a remarkable time to be working on artificial intelligence. But as this technology advances, we understand that people are anxious about how it could change the way we live.
Brody Carter, CBN News.
Okay, there's one clip, and you can see the concern, the voice cloning, and then there's deep fake technology, which is cloning video. And there are some video images that look remarkably close to the person that they're faking, and this is the technology that's out there. And then, of course, you have some of the most dangerous things like military operations, where you have military operations already being conducted right now through AI. So, as that advances, more and more military operations will be conducted where execution of different uh, warcraft are going to be, decisions are made before it even gets to a human. And that's very concerning. And that definitely needs to be limited. But it's already there and being done at varying levels, and this stuff's concerning. Absolutely. Well, let me show you this.
I noticed
other
that an
clip,
eclectic
but before
group.
that, okay, I wasn't supposed to play it yet, but I want to show you something. Actually, this would be this is worth showing you now, because one of the things that someone said regarding this hearing, this guy said, the Senate hearing with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman wrapped up at that time, just under 3 hours after kicking off Tuesday morning. Unlike at past sessions, this is the key right here. Unlike at past sessions with other tech CEOs, lawmakers largely declined to criticize the company's practices and instead sought input from Altman and other witnesses on potential rules for generative AI tools like ChatGPT. You know, if you saw any of the video that came out with Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and Twitter, I forget that guy's name, CEO, before Elon took over. And who was there? Google. These guys were grilled. These guys were hammered. And he's saying, no, it wasn't like that in this case. And I'm not saying that it needed to be, all like that. He is, I don't know who called the hearing to begin with, so that's gonna change things. But there should be some criticism to get into how they're conducting business and how they're advancing things. It just kind of makes you wonder, because, well, things like this make you wonder. Okay? OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, he's got a plan. He presented this plan. He's getting ample opportunity in this hearing to toot his own proposals for exactly how the U.S. government should regulate companies like his. So he laid out a 3-point plan. He wants them to form a new government agency with licensing large AI models and empower it to revoke that license for companies whose models don't comply with government standards. The question would be, what are the government standards, and what is that going to look like? That's going to be politicized very fast. So, unless you're of the political left, you're going to have your AI license revoked. Well, that would seem like a pretty obvious conclusion with that. Create a set of safety standards for AI models, including evaluations of their dangerous capabilities. For instance, models would have to pass certain tests for safety, such as whether they could self-replicate or exfiltrate into the wild. That is, to go rogue and start acting on their own. Seems like a good safety measure. Require independent audits by independent experts of the model's performance on various metrics. And, this is important, notably absent from Altman's proposals, requiring AI models to offer transparency into their training data, as his fellow expert witness Gary Marcus has called for, or prohibiting them from being trained on artist copyrighted works. as Senator Marsha Blackburn has suggested. Yeah, well, that's what I talked about earlier. It's ingesting all this copyrighted material and using it as part of the training of the chatbot. So let's move on to that next clip. I'll play that for us here. This just gives some more clips from the Senate hearing, and these are some really interesting things, so I want to include these for us. I hope you're enjoying this episode, and we're going to be back to it in just a moment. I just want to show you a few things that I want to make sure you're aware of. Now, in every single video, one of the things that you'll notice after watching the video and hitting the like button, because that really helps push this out to more people, is that down here in the description, you have you can find out some information about the Devotional Bible Study Guide, which is a resource that I have available. And also, if you feel led to give, if this ministry's been blessing you, if you've been blessed by this video, you have the options available here, and you can just click and go there. It's at preachingforgodsglory.org/donate. If you wanted to just type it in yourself, or if you're listening, at preachingforgodsglory.org/donate. Or you can do it at Buy Me a Coffee. When you go there, you're going to find out some information about the ministry, just some basic information there. Maybe I'll add to this more. It will say down here, just so you do know, that Preaching for God's Glory is not a 501c3 ministry, meaning that the donations are not tax deductible, but it is definitely a ministry of the Word. And so you just click on that donate button. That's going to bring this page up here, and that's going to be where you can choose how much you'd like to give. It's got suggested amounts there. You can also just click other and type in any amount. Of course, you can make this a monthly donation if you'd like as well. And Buy Me a Coffee, sometimes people like to give on Buy Me a Coffee, so that is another option. If you want to give anonymously, I don't know if you can do that through PayPal, so that is a way that you can do that on Buy Me a Coffee. Looks like someone gave anonymously there now. Certainly, I'm grateful for anyone that has given, supported this ministry in any way. I'm definitely grateful and humbled anytime that I see that happen, since I haven't actually asked much for support up until this point. And so I just want you to let you know how you can support this ministry. You'll always see that in the description or in the pinned comment. And I hope that it's being a blessing to you. Now, back to the show.
I noticed that an eclectic group of about 1,000 technology and AI leaders, everybody from Andrew Yang to Elon Musk, recently called for a 6-month moratorium on any further AI development. Were they right? Do you join those calls? Are they right to do that? Should we pause for 6 months?
Your characterization's not quite correct. I actually signed that letter. About 27,000 people signed it. It did not call for a ban on all AI research. It only called, nor on all AI, but only on a very specific thing, which would be systems like GPT-5. Every other piece of research that's ever been done, it was actually supportive or neutral about. And it specifically called for more more research on trustworthy and safe AI.
So you think that we should take a moratorium, a 6-month moratorium or more, on anything beyond ChatGPT 4?
The moratorium that we should focus on is actually deployment until we have good safety cases. I don't know that we need to pause that particular project, but I do think its emphasis on focusing more on AI safety, on trustworthy, reliable AI is exactly right.
I think
Yeah, safety's probably a good idea, right? I would think we could all agree that safety is a good idea.
I think the frame of the letter is wrong. What matters is audits, red teaming, safety standards that a model needs to pass before training. If we pause for 6 months, then I'm not really sure what we do then. Do we pause for another 6? Do we kind of come up with some rules then? The standards that we have developed and that we've used for GPT-4 deployment, we want to build on those, but we think that's the right direction, not a calendar clock pause. There may be times, I expect there will be times, when we find something that we don't understand and we really do need to take a pause, but we don't see that yet.
I think we need to use the time to prioritize ethics and responsible technology as a
Boom. The first time someone's actually talking about ethics here and responsible behavior. They are talking about safety, but they certainly don't want to pause. They certainly don't want to slow down. No. But yet they see the concern. So they're like, let us move forward, but, with more safety measures, but at least she's talking about ethics.
I think we need to use the time to prioritize ethics and responsible technology as opposed to pausing development.
Well, wouldn't a pause in development help the development of protocols for safety standards and ethics?
That's a very easy yes, absolutely. She's going to say it's not very practical, and it's true. These guys are not going to stop their advancement.
I'm not sure how practical it is to pause, but we absolutely should be prioritizing safety protocols.
Well, there you go. So that's what we're looking at with this stuff. Full steam ahead, but but Sam Altman's like, well, having some regulations would be good. Having some safety would be good. This stuff's pretty dangerous. It's dangerous what it's capable of, and so having some industry regulations would probably be good. If you could work it out a little bit to our business advantage, that could be helpful as well. Keep the other guys down. But yeah, so here's what we have from us. What else to show you is this here. Okay, so I guess I don't have that article open anymore, but Sam Altman, this last Friday, November 17th, was actually fired from OpenAI, so he is no longer at the company. The reason given was a communication breakdown of some sort, and some high-level officials, all at the senior level, chief executive officer and COO and another C-suite member of the company walked after his leaving. So clearly this was a big deal and people didn't want him to be fired. And then there was talk about him coming back, actually. There was talk about him coming back to OpenAI. And now we know, no, he's not coming back. Sam Altman will not return as CEO of OpenAI. And that's of the 20th, today. And then we also have this now. ChatGPT creator Sam Altman lands Microsoft job after ousting by OpenAI board. So now he's over at Microsoft. And so we can see Microsoft move full speed ahead with everything that they've got in the works. So there we go. That's what's going on with the advancement of AI. So how should we be thinking about this as Christians? What are some final takeaways for us? We see many problems with AI. The fact that you can clone people's voices and you can play that, and that can be that can sound just like the person, the real person, but it's fake. You can clone a video of someone, but it's not really that person. It's fake. There are some takeaways that we're going to get to, but the video is delayed, so I'm going to find out what's going on with that and come back and record these takeaways in a moment. Okay, I really hope this last part records okay. I've got some final takeaways. I've got 4 takeaways for us. These are some takeaways with everything going on, all the dangers in AI, all the advancements in AI, and this is what I want us to think about as Christians. Now, although new technology can be beneficial and convenient, Christians must consider the ethical considerations of embracing such technology. There are some serious ethical considerations. Everything that we've already talked about, plagiarism, having their lies and deceptions, making it look as if you created something, a person created something that is not their own. That is a serious consideration. There's everything from military operations and AI controlling that, and there's the faking of voice, faking of video. I don't want to keep rehashing the same thing, but there's some serious ethical considerations there. And the fact that really what we're seeing here, what I think that we're seeing is man wanting to create his own God. We're all created in the image of God. Imago Dei, we all have dignity and value, and we don't want to see robots created that they're attempting to give them more emotion and have them imitate humans in a great deal. And of course, there's concern about them even, having consciousness. Well, God gives consciousness, but they can imitate most definitely better and better and better. They're getting way better than ever before at imitating humans, and they're not humans. And it's like it has to be said now, because there's push for robot rights some places. And that's going to be what I think what we're going to see more and more talk of as robots advance, is the robots that are actually being given faces and made to look like humans, that that they should have rights. There's Sophia is the name of one of them, who's a very well-known robot, who's been a TV newscaster in Australia, I believe. And has been put in some places. And so we need to be thinking about the ethical considerations here and recognize total depravity. Man is created evil and wicked, and unbelievers have a wicked heart, and there are many wicked agendas out there, and we certainly are seeing some of those. And so this stuff created and put in the hands of wicked men, which it already is in evil hands and can get in even more evil hands. And so because of that, there are great negative things, negative consequences to come from that. And so there are some serious ethical considerations. So this is not something that I think Christians should embrace. I think that there may be ways to use ChatGPT as maybe a research assistant or something. Say, what are all the books written on the sovereignty of God from, all in the 1700s? Can you give me that list? And then that gives you, a head start, as if you were to ask a secretary to give you that list. I could see that being a reasonable use, but do you really want to use it that much and give it all your data? Is something to consider as well. Although we know data is all over the place. Well, number 2, no Christian should be using any form of AI to create or promote lies and deception. No Christian should be using any form of AI to create or promote lies and deception. Just no Christian should be lying or deceiving, period. And when AI helps you do that, that's a problem. And I've got some verses to cover here real quick for that. We've got, Colossians 3:9-10. Do not lie to one another, seeing that you have put off the old self with its practices, and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. We're created in the image of God, and we want to be honest and Christ-like because of that. Nothing is covered up that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. This is Jesus talking to the Pharisees, or talking about the Pharisees and their hypocrisy. And this is very true of anything that is hidden, anything that is done in the dark, any deception that is going on. Absolutely, it applies there. Oh, I skipped over one. Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. We want to be walking in righteousness, and God is honored when we do that. Number 3, no Christian should be embracing theft. This is an overlap here. Theft is deceit. Theft is wrong. And that's exactly what's happening with plagiarism. It is theft. So, having ChatGPT feed content and then just putting it in a blog article, or having ChatGPT feed content and then someone using that and creating a YouTube video from it, having a script that's already handed to them, that is theft. That is plagiarism. Plagiarism is theft. And that's a pretty obvious one that we know is wrong, right? But we've got some verses there. You shall not steal. Exodus 20 verse 15. right there in the 10 Commandments. We've got Matthew 15:19 shows us that it's an issue of the heart. Matthew 15 verse 19 shows us that. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, slander. And Proverbs 20 verse 17 show us a result that comes from this. Bread gained by deceit is sweet to a man, but afterward his mouth will be full of gravel. There can be a temporary pleasure, but it's not going to last long. The mouth of the thief will be full of gravel. Now, that doesn't mean that it's immediate, but at some point, that mouth will be full of gravel. There will be a bitter taste in his mouth. And this could also even be getting at the fact that once he's caught, once what was concealed begins to be revealed, well, he'll have nothing to eat. He won't have that bread. And so he'll be stuck eating gravel. His mouth will be full of gravel. It might be able to apply it in either those are two different applications of basically consequences on this earth that come from theft. And number 4, finally, we must remain faithful, endure persecution, and boldly proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ to a dying world. Well, I don't know what's ahead. We've got some serious issues ahead. We must stand firm. We must preach the word. We must preach the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That is through the death, burial, resurrection of Jesus Christ that one can be saved by trusting in the righteousness of Christ. If you don't know that truth, you must just trust in the perfect work of Christ, that he lived a perfect life and died that death and conquered sin and death. You just trust in Christ and you can be born again and made anew. And that is the gospel of Jesus Christ in a nutshell. I hope you know that truth, and I hope you're sharing that truth with others. God bless you. You joined me today for Truth Transforms. The goal of Truth Transforms is to transform hearts and transform minds through the truth of God's Word. If you're new here, go ahead and hit subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you're notified of all new videos. There are daily truth nuggets, preaching and teaching, daily devotionals, and Truth Transforms videos as well. Hit that like button if you would on the way out. That helps us reach more people. God bless you, and I will see you in the next episode. And also linked below will be my other videos about Christians and artificial intelligence. All right, goodbye.